G'day everybody, welcome back to another video on the channel. In this video today we're going to be taking a look at my tips for round 3 of the 2022 AFL season. If you're going to enjoy today's video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, that'd be much appreciated. And let's kick it off with my tips from last week. Rightio, so here are my tips from round 2. The exact same score from round 1, I managed to get 4 out of 9 again. Doggies versus Carlton, I thought the Bulldogs would just outclass Carlton. I just felt like Carlton would have a bit of a one-off game against Richmond. But they just continued to show what they showed in round 1, just pure dominance around the contest in the midfield. Those balls going really hard. Just seems to be Carlton a really well-balanced team, and I feel like they're a shoe-in for finals. I went with the Cats over the Swans. I tipped my favourite team against them again, and they managed to prevail. The Swans with Buddy also kicking his 1,000th goal. What a moment that was, and just a terrific game from the Swans. People forget actually about that game of how well the Swans dismantled the Cats. I thought the Cats would convincingly win, but nah, Swans did win by around 30 points. Got the Pies correct against the Crows. Crows for me just aren't really looking like that quality of a side at the moment. They should have lost by a lot more against Fremantle. Whilst the Pies are really a smoky chance for finals, I believe. They're playing that more exciting type of footy, and they've got some really underrated players in their list, and also some exciting youngsters too. Got the tip correct for Lions against Essendon. They were pretty much under the pump throughout the first half. The Lions, Essendon had a really terrific start, but you know, Lions, same as last week, they just got the job done. Not playing the best of footy out of, you know, probably not the best footy out of any team in the AFL, but they're getting the job done, and yeah, it's good to see them get the win over the Dons. And 𝐼𝐴𝐴𝐿𝐿, I'm pretty sure nearly everybody tipped Port for this game, but Hawks just were fantastic. Port Adelaide showing what they did in the prelim final last year, just went into their shells once they conceded the first 3, and it was game over. A lot of doubters for the Hawks, including myself. I believe the Hawks are the wooden spooners, but hey, you know, they were absolutely terrific. Players like Mitch Lewis, Gunston, Dylan Moore were fantastic down front. Josh Ward kicking his first goal too. One of the best wins in the Hawks franchise for quite a number of years, I reckon. Got the Demons, of course, correct, which is great to see. Gold Coast seems to be, as I predicted in my season predictions, a team that's going to be on the up this year. They are a really competitive, hard at the footy contest kind of side, and if they show consistency, they'll be up the mid-table, I believe, the Suns, and they were right in it throughout the whole game. But of course, Melbourne's class just got the job done for them. Now, last week I actually did tip the Eagles in this contest, but because I recorded these on a Monday, this was before we knew like literally half of the Eagles playing list was out throughout with COVID. So then on the weekend, I changed my tip to the Kangaroos, and they got the win. Not a very convincing win, but they got the job done over the West Coast Eagles. Pretty much half a waffle side, and respect to them for still showing a great fight against the Wooden Spoons from last year. And I thought Giants would produce another really strong display like they did in round 1. But the Tigers, I really had a feeling that they would get back to good form, and they were just magnificent really against the Giants. And for my final tip, I thought Fremantle would get the Chockies in this game because of the home field advantage. Looks like they were going to throughout the first half, third quarter, but the Saints just turned the game around with guns like Max King, putting them back in the league. Jack Higgins was actually not kicking points, he was kicking goals, and yeah, Saints with a great win on the road. So 4 out of 9 again for round 2. Let's hope I can pick it up for round 3. Rightio, so now let's take a look at the top 10 quickly in my tipping competition. By the way, fellas, if you are yet to join the tipping competition, not too late. I'll leave a link in the description down below. Plenty of cash up for grabs, so yeah, make sure to join up if you haven't already. 10th, we've got Cornell, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, with 18 points. 9th, we've got Joel Healy. I'm pretty sure this guy was in first last week with 18. 8th, we've got ESPN Fan with 18. 7th, Big Bazza with 18. 6th with Hawks are Bay, 18. 5th are Go Blues, 𝐼𝐴𝐴𝐿 with 18. 4th, Mitch from the West with 18. 3, Dixie, I'll just call him for short, with 19. 2nd, Bats Rooney with 20. And 1st, Banger Harvey with 22. What a start from him. Okay, with that out of the way now, let's get into our tips for round 3, and we're kicking it off with an absolute cracker between the Bulldogs and the Sydney Swans. Bulldogs currently 0-2, whilst the Sydney Swans are 2-0. The first 2 rounds, of course, I am a Sydney Swans fan. I've tipped against the Swans, and we have managed to win our games. A few people in the comments aren't happy with me tipping against them, but I feel like this week I've gained a lot of confidence of how the Swans have played. They've played convincingly very well against the Giants. They had a really good fourth quarter, but against the Cats, they were just all over it. It's fair enough if you can say the momentum was probably because of Buddy's 1,000th goal, but I still feel like they are probably near the top of the power rankings at the moment. Whilst the Western Bulldogs, they could possibly go 0-3, 0-4. They could possibly have a losing grand final hangover, as some teams manage to have. The Bulldogs' key position players, apart from Norton, just aren't in great form. And for me, I'm finally going to be tipping the Swans for my weekly tipping videos. They just seem to be more of that convincing side at the moment, and I feel like it will be a close game. Last year the Swans dismantled the Western Bulldogs whilst they were in form, and I believe they'll get the job done on Thursday night, and I'm going to tip him by 17 points. Now for the two Friday games, yes, we've got a double header on Friday night. First one, Melbourne Demons versus Essendon. At the MCG, the Demons are of course in top form, whilst Essendon produced, I guess you could say, a healthy loss last week. They were really quite good against the Brisbane Lions, but I just simply can't go past the Demons at the moment. I know that they're kind of given a scare by the Gold Coast Suns, but that was in Gold Coast, where it's a lot more hot and humid conditions. Whilst this is going to be at the MCG in front of a massive crowd, Melbourne's class, just honestly, it is just too good. I know they have Salem out, but it's just justified with the defenders they have back there, Tomlinson and Stephen May. And also, how about Jake Bowey? He could be a rising star winner, possibly, who knows, and Petrarca. This guy will just keep on getting better and better. And for me, it is just all the Demons, and I'm going to be tipping them for this game. And it's going to be a convincing one. I'm going to be tipping them by 33 points. And for the other Friday game, what a clash. This is going to be showdown. Don't know what number it is, but it is going to be the showdown. Both teams will not go out without a fight. This will just be good quality footy, I believe. Adelaide, even though their form hasn't been great, since they're going to be versus Port Adelaide, who are also not really in the greatest of form, it could really be up for grabs. But for me, Port Adelaide just edging it for me. I know Port aren't in the greatest form, and Adelaide could really snatch the win for them, but Port for me just seem to have more of that upside with the list that they do have. And for me, Port Adelaide will get the job done. It's going to be a close one. I'm really feeling a close one here, and it's going to be under a kick. Port Adelaide will win by 5 points. Now for the Saturday games, and in the 1:10 PM slot at Giants Stadium, we got GWS Giants versus the Gold Coast Suns. Giants didn't really have a great time out at the G on Sunday against Richmond, but that's just the Giants. They were always quite a bit inconsistent. Same with the Gold Coast Suns. And I'm actually feeling the Suns will get the job done here. They seem to be more in that form. Giants can obviously, I can really easily see them. It's going to be either way. Giants can really cop a convincing win here, but I'm just favouring the Suns at the moment. I'm really liking the way they're playing their football. I know it is away from home, but the Suns, I reckon, are going to go on the road and pick up a fantastic win. And the Suns will get the job done by 20 points. Next up, we've got Collingwood versus Geelong at the MCG. The Pies, oh geez, what a start they've had. They are 2-0, and they have got a shit ton of momentum at the moment. I saw Nathan Buckley reckons they could honestly pick up 15 wins with their form that they're currently going in, which, who knows? They could really be a really smoky chance for finals. Whilst Geelong, I know that they did cop a kind of a convincing loss last week, but they did have more numbers than Sydney in some stats departments, and also they had a lot more inside 50. So I feel like in this situation, Geelong will just keep on doing what they're doing and they'll be fine. They'll still pick up, that kind of top 4 amount of wins. But I'm just going to go with the momentum here. I feel like Collingwood are going to take it to 3-0, and they're just going to boss it at the MCG on Saturday night. They're youngsters that they have such exciting football that they do play. Also considering they have Kruger back in, who played a really good game. They also now have Maynard back in, I'm pretty sure. I'm just going to go for the Pies here. They are going to have an awesome display, and they're going to win by 14 points. Moving on now to the Brisbane Lions versus North Melbourne at the Gabba. It's a pretty simple tip for me. I'm going to be going for the Lions. North, honestly, against a half a waffle side, a lot of people are saying North fans should not really be celebrating the win that they did have over the Eagles. They were really challenged against, half a reserves grade side. But, that is North Melbourne. They were the wooden spooners last year. It's still going to be a bit of a slow season from them. And since this game's at the Gabba, Brisbane Lions have far more better of a list. For me, yep, it's just Brisbane Lions every day of the week, and they're going to get a convincing win here by 36 points. Now, for the Sunday games, we have got a cracker of two classic teams, Carlton versus Hawthorn. Both teams, of course, 2-0. Who will win this one? We've got Carlton, who probably have more of the expectations and more of the upside, whilst the Hawks still have a very bright young list, and they really showed against the Port Adelaide Power at Adelaide Oval. But I'm just going to keep on hopping on the Carlton bandwagon. Just how they are playing their football at the moment is so good. Their balance in their side is excellent. All players across the field just simply doing their job. Curnow, 𝐼𝐻𝐿, their midfield is just honestly, it could be honestly one of the best midfield group at the end of this year. 𝐬𝐻𝐿, 𝐬𝐻𝐿, 𝐼𝐻𝐿𝐿, Kennedy is just playing magnificent too. Those kind of players are just going to keep on getting better and better. And I'm backing in the Blue Baggers here. They're going to go 3-0. You know, I'm feeling it will be a close contest throughout. Both teams, always have a very strong rivalry against each other. But the Blues will probably run away with it in the fourth quarter, and I'm going to tip him by 22 points. In the 3:20 slot at Marvel Stadium, we've got St Kilda versus Richmond. It is quite a tricky one to predict because last year when these two teams played each other, St Kilda smashed Richmond one game, and in the other game, Richmond smashed St Kilda. So it's kind of like scratching your head, who are you really going to pick here, because both teams had really good wins last week. I know the Saints win on Sunday was a great win. It was tough, it was gritty, it was competitive, but Richmond just seemed to be more of that classier side at the moment. They were just excellent against the Giants, dismantled them 100%. It's going to be a close one, I feel. St Kilda, they just have those players that can really lift the team. Higgins and Max Keane were magnificent, whilst Jack Steele has been playing some good footy too. But I'm going to be backing in the Tigers here in a close affair, and they'll beat St Kilda by 10 points. And for the final game of the round, we've got the Western Derby, West Coast Eagles versus Fremantle. It will be West Coast Eagles home game, 6:20 p.m. And geez, you know, for me, it's just all signs pointing to Fremantle. I know that they did not get the job done against Saints on Sunday, but throughout that game, they weren't very convincing, but they just seemed to be playing okay footy. You know, for a top 8 side, contention side, they don't have to be out of the block straight away. They can just chip away kind of at the start of the season, but really flex their muscles throughout the mid to the latest stages of this season. So I'm not worried yet if I was a Fremantle fan, and plus some of those players they have in their side just have tremendous upside. Hayden Young, Brayshaw were magnificent on Sunday, whilst the Eagles, they'll probably get a bunch of their plays back in. I'm not fully writing them off yet, but Fremantle just seem to be more of that primed side at the moment. And I'm going to be tipping them. Again, it's a Western Derby. It's going to be close. It's going to be competitive. It's going to be tough. But Fremantle will run away with it in the second half, I believe. And they'll be victorious and win by 26 points. So everyone, there were my tips for round 3 of the 2022 AFL season. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you went on to enjoy today's video. Also comment down below and tell me your thoughts of my tips, and make sure to put down your fellas tips as well. I'd love to hear your fellas tips and thoughts of the upcoming rounds. So first 2 rounds of footy have been excellent. Let's hope for a great round 3, hopefully, and good luck to your teams. Hopefully they do win. And that's it from me, fellas. I'll talk to you later. See you later, fellas.